Hello. Thanks for joining. This is the first ever Q&A session for a massage because I've been wanting to do this. I think a lot of people just don't know if massage is going to help them with their aches and pains. So if you have skeletal muscle tendinous ligamentous injuries, acute to chronic, with no underlying pathologies, it is. Massage is great for you. Now, if you don't know if you do, and you have an area of your ache and you can describe it, your massage therapist can let you know if massage is going to help you. And if not, well, then you should really get referred to a healthcare specialist, someone who can examine you and discover if you have a visceral problem or a chronic problem, an underlying condition which could be related to autoimmune disorders or cancer or organ failure, aging, mental disability, etc. So I encourage everyone to use this app. It's called Complete Anatomy, and it's by Elsevier or for MD Medical. Something similar to that. Anyways, I'll just wait here and then we'll get started. Just looking at my phone. Oh, thanks for joining me on the data science runs. If any of you have done that, we will be doing that tonight. It's data science and wine because I didn't get beer. And I'm still healing from a cold sore. And also a root canal. Just had that yesterday. Everything's fine. I had a weird letter saying that the dog got in the way of what looked like a very small sign on a white pickup truck that looked like it was carrying supplies to Tree to Tree, but they had the wrong house because we don't have any trees on our property line. That's the neighbor behind us. And nobody talks to him because he's fucking weird. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry. Pardon my language. He's weird. He's very weird. Anyhow, so I'm just looking that up right now. I'm going to get into the accolades about me so that you can know if you want to trust me or not on my advice and suggestions for you. I didn't like that I called the number, and we live in a multi-diverse country, and English is the primary language, but it only had English and Spanish. And then it said if you don't pick one or two, they don't default to the default language. I mean, wow, that's pretty exclusive because there's a lot of other nationalities like Vietnamese and Chinese and Indian and all sorts of other languages. Why does it have to be that for this area? And then no default to English. Like, okay. No trees here. You go to the site. It just sounds like a scam. They're just trying to get information from you that they don't deserve to have. There's new people that moved in across the street. They might be part of it. Renting the house across the street. This is a loud neighborhood. Or it could also be someone just stalking me because it's there on YouTube. Fixing my car with my plate. It's illegal to run someone's plate. You can find out who did it on a TWR. They're going to face prison time if they do. Let's just look it up just for fun. Okay. Flock. Yeah, let's go to that one. So you put your plate in. I think this only checks if it emphasizes privacy and data protection. Customers own and control their data. Flock does not maintain a centralized database of license plate data across customers. Each search is recorded and reviewable, ensuring transparency. If you have concerns about your data, I recommend visiting our privacy page. It's meant for specific public safety purposes. Recorded and can be reviewed. So it doesn't say it's for like sense, but that doesn't mean a lot of people have access to database systems of the government for tracking. I assume they track everything and the source, and you have to have a license and ID to prove you're in that field of law enforcement, and then it will show up similar to like it showing your IP address, and then the time stamp as well as location. A license up to 100 miles. Okay, so that sounds like products they're selling to law enforcement. All right. Services to enter your license plate number, see if it has been searched. Law enforcement, they have access to databases that track license plates. File a police report if you suspect illegal activity. Report to your local police, establish an official record, and assist in investigations. Notify your DMV, alert the DMV to flag your vehicle's record and get guidance on next steps. Contact your insurance company. Inform them about the fraud to avoid wrongful claims and premium increases. It's important to act quickly. Okay, here's something. Legalclarity.org. No system notifies you when someone runs your license plate, and no single database lets you look up every query tied to your tag. Law enforcement agencies, automated cameras, and DMV systems all process plate information independently. And the rules for accessing those records vary depending on who ran the plate and why. You do have legal tools to investigate, but each one has rule limitations worth understanding before you invest time in the process. Why there is no simple way to check. Your license plate can be checked through several systems that don't talk to each other. All right, yeah, just another piece of shit thing that you can't really look up anything with. All right. Like meant to be like non-formal. So pardon my language if it offends you. But go ahead and ask me any questions that you may have. So right now, I'm just going to talk about my day and conditions that I see personally. Oh, let me give you my accolades. Nowadays, we have to have accolades, and only people that don't have accolades are the ones looking people up because they didn't do anything with their life. And they just don't trust anybody. But they didn't do anything with their life before not trusting anybody. They just hate people even more every day. So they just don't trust anybody. Every day that goes on. God, that was a good piece of taffy. All right, so I'm going to go to my file. Sure, miscellaneous degrees and certs. Okie doke. Well, my first aid expired. I'm not going to renew that though. It was expensive. I don't really need it for massage. I might renew it eventually. Oh, here's this one. I don't know if it has mine. Bachelor's degree, math and economics. Let me stop sharing real quick. I have to make sure that it's not showing anything like my social security number. I'm gonna look at it real quick. I don't see it. I don't see my social, so that's good. Cool. All right. So I went to school late. I was helping my sister. I got my massage certificate from an independent massage place that's no longer there. It was taught by a chiropractor, a holistic chiropractor, Dr. Krause, Dr. Gerald Kurt Krause. Yeah. And that was back in 2005 when I lived in Redondo. That's where it was. It was like the massage school in Hermosa Beach, which I rode my bike to. Because I was living with my boyfriend at the time, and we lived at his place that he was with his mom, that actually a church was renting to her. And it was 2 blocks from the beach. So we were just chilling, and I went to massage school. After a bankruptcy, because I didn't know how to manage my money before that, I was a waitress. And I did odd jobs like cashier. I worked at a hotel for a month. I did cashier. I worked at an American sales pool place. I went to high school at 4 different high schools. I moved around the country. I still managed to graduate with almost a 4.0. I worked since I was 15 and a half. I was my nanny for 4 years during that time as well. And she just paid me a very low wage. I was barely enough to pay my bills. And then she always paid me late. And she yelled at me whenever I asked her to pay me so I could pay my bills. That was so that she could better her life after her baby's daddy got shot, killed as a security guard at a bar. And I felt bad in the little baby, so I helped her out. I already had my massage. 2 years working at that chiropractor's office. You can get a massage back then as an intern massage, $25, and a graduate, $39. So back then I was making $17 an hour, which was decent because it was 2005 to 2007. And then I couldn't get a job in massage because massage just really wasn't that respectable, because a lot of sleazy places still were around and other people didn't trust anybody, especially a cute, uneducated girl. So I always wanted to get my education, even though I graduated with a high GPA. I also got into trouble because I got into trouble with my neighbor. I started in the school drop off as her nanny. And then a few days late, it turned into an assault. And she assaulted me, and I was protecting myself. And then I told her not to come by. And then she followed me to my house, almost my house. I got out of the car to confront her. She tried to run me over. And then she said the story was switched. She got her husband out there. I did throw a stick at the car. So actually I got in trouble with the law right there. So that shows up. I got that expunged though. That was a felony wobbler back in 2009. If you look it up, you have to have special permissions, but you obviously probably never did anything with your life either to look it up, because if you're just in law enforcement, you don't require a bachelor's degree, so you wouldn't really know the sociology or psychology of it. And many law enforcement are bigots. They're misogynists. If you don't look at them with a googly eye and just let them talk, they think you're like a punk and they're going to jail you. So I'm totally against the sheriff being the governor of the state to make the jail prisons come back, the bail prisons, bail jail, because they sit there for weeks and months and they just put you there. And then they expect you to like feel like shit and a worthless person. They take your humanity from you. And the person who puts you there, they don't check anything. And so I think if you're going to bring back bail jails, then you better bring back 10 years, 10,000 or life in prison to the officer who puts people there innocently or frames them. Okay? That's what I got to say. So I don't support any law enforcement without any kind of cultured outlook other than got a record, don't got a record. You know, law enforcement will keep you from having a record. You have a great driving record. I'll let this one slide. You know what I mean? Like, it's all only as long as it like benefits them and their community. They literally call themselves themselves. They don't think like us. We protect our own. I'm not against law enforcement. I'm against bigots and misogynists in law enforcement and bail jails where they can do that too, okay? So that was 2009. I started school again after my sister ditched me. I found a hot guy to make her jealous. She was dating an older dude that was like 14 years. She ended up marrying him, and he gained a bunch of weight, and he lost his job, and she was working 20 hours a day to support their lifestyle that she couldn't support on her own. Sold her nice house that would have been worth $1.5 million a day that she bought for $400,000. Yeah, I know. She said, "Oh, we don't need you anymore. Yeah, go do your life. Go, go fuck off or whatever." So, I did. Found a hot guy. I was already in community college, and then Norco College. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to math. I'm gonna get my math. Oh, I'm gonna get my math degree. So let's just go through. So this one, okay, I'm gonna share it with you. This is my UCSD thing. So it took me 2.5 years. I missed my Meemaw's funeral because I didn't have money to go to it. Nobody offered it, but they totally pointed out like, you didn't go and pay your respects and stuff. So I was like, I couldn't. I literally had finals right before transferring. I got to in my family to go to college. You know what I mean? Yeah, they paid my whole tuition, and it was math and economics. I originally wanted to be an engineer, and math was fun because I liked math when I was little, and nobody liked math. She kept me from improving myself. She thought it was making me crazy, but actually it was her that was making me crazy. I hated her. Oh my God, everything about her. So anyways, Jericho College. I got a full scholarship, but I did have to take out personal loans because I had to drive back and forth because I couldn't afford tuition. I had bills. I was 29. I was like 31 because I went to community college at 29. And then, yeah, that's when I was with my hot guy. We stayed married for 9 years, and then COVID hit, and then we were like, I can't stand you even more than before. I'm going to like kill you or you're going to kill me. So we got divorced. I still lived there another year, and he totally provoked me a lot, but we're still friends. Okay. This is my first accolade. You see like math majors and you're judgy and you think we're all crazy and going to kill people, then I'm not right for you as a massage therapist, but you should know it's not even what you think it is. That's the lower division math. So upper division math is all theorems and other stuff. I have a whole bookcase of those books. Yeah, vector calculus I did withdraw from because it was getting too much for me. He was a little shitbag. His name was John, and he only packed enough clothes for like went through a growth spurt or something. And they were so tight. They gave him a Murph, and he wasn't even a. So I have all my math books still because I kept them. and a bunch of lower division math, a bunch of economics, analysis, financial markets, and they basically were the ones that said, yeah, governments can do whatever they want. Amount of money, they just tax people even more. So that's why we pay so much money. Everything goes down. They just put the price on everything. All of these government agencies, law enforcement, the state, the water, the subsidies with utility tax, all increase. Everybody wants lots of money. They want to pay for everything. So that's why everything's so expensive. I mean, my paycheck, I make $50,000 a year and I get like $2,000 of it a month. That's not even, I want an income-driven repayment plan too, so I don't even pay anything to that. It's all taxes. I don't get any of that free because after I pay my truck payment, my auto insurance, my camper trailer payment, phone bills, my freaking website bills, my mailbox bills, my rent to my father, I get nothing except for enough money for food at like Aldi's and Stater Brothers. Used to be Amazon Fresh, but I graduated with 2.8 because math, once it got to a certain point, they replaced it because I retook this one. Yes, I got a D in it. Really that. And then I ended up getting cancer during that time and getting treated for it. And had to wear wigs and little shit bags. Some of those little shit bags there, like they knew I was wearing a wig, like it's for my own health. Threw a frisbee at me when we were waiting during our final season, and it almost broke my wig when I said something, and some little nerdy Asian dude was like, "She only wants money. That's all she's here for." I was like, "What are you? What are you even talking about? You don't even know anything." Yeah, so it was kind of underrated to me because, especially since I didn't get a job afterwards. But I was really thankful because I got to learn all that stuff. I put myself to the test, and I went through everything, and I eventually graduated. Yeah. So when I did end up taking math minus, different teacher. Okay, they're just young kids, young jerks. Okay, didn't have. I was commuting and stuff, so I didn't really care. Loans because I actually what is it? Oh, those are examples. Okay, yeah. So we'll close that one. I'm gonna show you all my math books though. Crazy. Hold on. I think you can see this. But, oh yeah, so you can see all that stuff. I still books. All the math books. Math. I do science starts from this one. It starts getting into stochastic gradient stuff, linear algebra, basically what it all is. You have some statistics in there too. The econometrics is there, right there. Okay, I taught myself. I passed calculus. I took a CLEP course. Where is it at? All right. I might have donated it already to. I donated it to somewhere. Goodwill, because they take books. Yeah, so I got all those partial difference equations, all my undergrad, like breadth courses, like the social sciences, human sciences, that kind of stuff. All right, next accolade is, let's see. Oh, and that other bookcase, that's all my chiropractic school stuff. That's 3 years of that. Okay. And cool app that I pay yearly for. The next one would be, okay, here's my, let me just stop sharing the screen, make sure there's nothing personal on it. Okay. I'm going to look up the next one. Yeah, it was called Alta College. Okay. Oh, that's my Inblix, I think. Yeah, I took that during COVID. It wasn't really that bad. I just studied for less time than I did the CLEP for calculus. past that. Also, did just put you in calculus, so I didn't have to do or statistics. I actually never took a statistics course. It doesn't really seem that difficult, but I didn't have to take it. And they don't go over it in calculus. They only go over like linear regression and how they got these numbers, and then like the regular stats like the mean and the median, simple stuff. So this is the school I went to. I had to already closed to take my MBLEX massage and bodywork license. Okay, so now I'm gonna stop sharing again, and then let's go through another one. Let me see. Okay, I don't know what this one is. This is 2020. Oh, that's the MBLEX. Oh, that's just a payment receipt. Let me see. Oh, here's my certificate from Alta College. And then my unofficial transcript. Okay. So I'll show you this. I'll share this. Share the screen. Entire screen. Okay. So it's going to be this. It's this one right here. So yeah, I did just take pictures of this one because I do have a scanned copy somewhere and it's hanging up in one of my pictures. So that just shows you what all we went through. It was like 500 hours chill. I think it was of that hours, it's probably only 350 of training, and then 150 of intern hours. That's for the minimum. You don't really get good until you're working on a lot of different bodies and they're giving you correct feedback to improve. A red flag on my credit audit, so you can't run it, okay? Because I will know. They will tell me. I got it through Experian, okay? You can't get shit anyways because I have like almost $400,000 in student loans, and you don't know where I work or how much I make a year. So, and you don't know my password or my address or my previous addresses. You could try looking it up, but you won't find it. Okay, and then let me go to that one. Board license. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing this one. I'll go to the CMCC. Okay, that was the old one. This one. Okay, yeah. So here's my CMTC certificate. Right there. All right, let me stop sharing while I get another one. I'm gonna look for let's see what these other images are. Okay, I should have. Oh, right. Okay. So I also have. Oh, look. I found some old photos from back in the day when I was doing intern hours at Alta College. Let me share that with you. All right. So, okay, that we looked at that one. And then where's the other images? Okay, so right here. Oh, I have my original hours. Look at that. Some of the hours, I ended up getting more. These were just little photos I had from an old device. You get more of them. See that? That's so neat. I don't even know if all these people are still alive. I haven't talked to like any of them anymore. And then you just sign up for a class. You get your hours. You log in your time. You sign it. The person signs it. Yeah, and then those are the classes. We didn't have to keep that or keep a record of it, but they made sure that it was there. Okay, that was 2005, and then some other. Oh, did you see that? Did I have that? Was I sharing? Show that's so weird. Okay. So I also went and got my Masters of Science. Okay. So that was my married name. And then I ended up getting it changed to my maiden name because Harris is my maiden name. That was my old mailbox. I will flag you, and it's actually on the black market, so you can't do anything with it. So I graduated December 19th, 2019. Lewis University. I did the data science program, graduate level. My courses were math, data scientist, concepts of statistics, intro to data, mining, education. All I remember from that class is SHA, 256 SHA. Nothing can be broken by brute force unless you have a quantum computer. Other than that, it just tells you why email is basically secured and that they can hack your line from a Wi-Fi. Okay. Large scale data storage systems, that's for cloud computing. Data visualization, that might have been talent and stuff. Intro to computational biology, that was basically bioinformatics. Data science, systems, life sciences, research and biotechnology. What are they called? Tangents in my. I'm pretty good at it now, and I know how to stay focused. But back then, it was on uterine fibroids. That's what I did my research project on, bioinformatics. But I kept going in every direction instead of just coming up with a hypothesis like, oh, there's this connection. Going through the whole thing and then answering a question, I went on different things because every uterine fibroid study had some other gene of interest and a different culture or race having to do with it. So it was pretty vague to like isolate down. And plus, that teacher was a cunt. I didn't like many Sarahs. I met a bunch of Sarahs that were nice, but like after her, I was like, and I accidentally called her Susan too. And she was like, my name is Sarah. It's Sarah. Power. Sarah Powers. Anyways, I think she was like my age. Anyways, I ended up graduating. She actually gave me an F on my research project because of that, and she had to read a lot of it. But it was before AI took over and they put it through a streaming thing, so she did all of it. She just looked at all the changes, and I did make some changes, but it was hard for me to know like what changes she was talking about because then that meant I was going to have to reduce my 200-page research project to like a new one, and I didn't want to do that because every little idea like a child in me that I wanted to like elaborate on, so I couldn't just do that. So anyways, I still passed, so you don't feel bad about it. I improved since then. That was as high as I went with a degree from passing it. Unfortunately, I did do chiropractic school after that, but I got kicked out after 3 years. Someone told on me because I was sharing my lab recordings with other students on right now. I have another YouTube account. And I keep them up there because the lady Shelby Google said, the stuff you did was disturbing. Like it's discussion with my peers in a and uploading it and sharing it with them. Not disturbing. So I keep it there for that reason because it is clearly not disturbing. There's nothing disturbing about it. Whatever. Turn on no. Oh, I don't want. Okay. So you could visit my other site at Janie Hardcore for Janis Harris Corona. Married name that I earned pretty much all of my upper higher education from. I did 3 years at this school, did a lot of classes, a lot of stuff, but I made it right into clinicals and they kicked me out. Okay, so I'm going to go to my channel. And you'll see not many watched it or still watching it. And there's still some people that really hate it. And they probably didn't do that well because if they're worried about me, their life isn't where they want to be. Okay. Because if your life is where you want to be, you're living your life to your best and fullest. If you're spending time worrying about what I'm doing, you obviously have a crappy life. Okay. It just says so much. That's all you can do. These are my kickboxing videos. I graduated with a yellow belt in karate when I was 12, and I expanded since then. I actually did a boxing thing, and I knocked out 2 people, but I didn't knock them out the first one, and then I came back because they let me, and all sanctioned, but it was not like a big. But the boxers that did train me, they actually were into boxing. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like an acting thing, so I didn't take it seriously. And then I didn't know that you're actually supposed to knock someone out, so I didn't knock them out. I just knocked them down. And then whenever they said they don't want anymore and they quit, I was like, okay, cool. I'm a winner, right? And I didn't know you're supposed to like really knock them out. Because I mean, that's just really brutal. That was before I actually went to massage school, though. So that was back in my hot years. I'm okay with that. That's fine. So anyways, I did expand on it. So I make these kickboxing videos. It's for self-defense or for a workout. You can change visual effects. So the more intense I got, the fatter I got because it took burn, put it right back on my body, plus the fat I ate, and put that on my body as well. So I was just maintaining my weight and still staying fat. Sometimes I got fatter. Sometimes I lost some weight, but only whenever I didn't go so intensely. And then if you go to my playlist, Bob, body opponent workouts, shopping for errands. I used to wear glasses to shop for things around the place just because I thought it was cool. And to track history because I did take cultural anthropology. And it was neat to learn about tribes and how life changes. And it's changing so fast. And these prices on groceries back in the day. I just had a playlist that I took from the internet. I was trying to do it, but Zumba, really, I can't do Zumba. These are my little videos while I was learning in school. Chiropractic, my home gym workouts, UC gym bag workouts. That's a private one. Karaoke. That's a playlist I took from songs off the internet, just to have songs to play next karaoke thing. Okay. A private one. A-holes. This lady got fired immediately. I think I had filmed her too whenever she was asking for a job and happy about it. And then I saw her like a month later as cash register. And I didn't dress nice. And she made a reference to me being on welfare or something. And I was like, no, I'm not on welfare. I don't need a free bag. You know what I mean? And I guess they found out and then she got fired. And then radiology, physiology is private because those aren't my videos. That's just for my own reference. In fact, they're not really. It's kind of neat having her explain. Okay. And then you go to that shit. It didn't really show like it was really. I think that's what I got in trouble for because I recorded my own treatment by other students. And they didn't like that one. And then there's stuff for my time in the labs. Private. Yeah. Clinical reasoning. And then there's more chiropractic videos. There's really not a lot of people that watched them unless they're trying to study for an or something like that. Close out of that. And then now what I really want to, let me show you the chiropractic too though. Because I did do 3,075 hours. It was a lot. It took 3 years and it was a lot of money. So I'm still paying that. You can log into that and you can see how much my student loans are. Oh my gosh, they're ridiculous. I got my I passed the physiotherapy exam, physiotherapy certificate. I also passed part 1. Oh yes, this is it. This is the one. Okay. So I'll just put it on the full screen. All right, cool. So here we go. Here I am. Started the fall 2021. My mother passed away from diabetes type 2 complications. The second week I was already going to her funeral, planning to go to it of that term. I also lost my dog, Mr. Grelly, from congestive heart failure. Poor little guy didn't make it. He was like 13 years old. So I got 3.5 GPA. We did the chiropractic procedures 1, which is really just palpating the spine. Cell and tissue anatomy, they called it CTAP. Intro to physical assessment, they called it IPA. Functional anatomy and general anatomy 1. Okay, and that was pretty. The next one, spring. It's spring, summer, fall, and you have to go to all of them. You have to be part of your cohort. That's how they do medical school. And you have to do it in 5 years. They don't let you not. Everything beyond 5 years expires. So then you have to do everything all over again. And I think with chiropractic school is you can't pick it up anywhere else because they all have their own way of doing this different curriculum. Beginning. Okay. And then we did spring these classes: history of healthcare, medical terminology, intro to ethics, intro to physical assessment, chiropractic procedures 2, chiropractic theories, functional anatomy and biomechanics 2, general anatomy 2. Those work together. Those were the brain, head and neck. Viscera for general anatomy 2. General anatomy 1 was body viscera. Functional anatomy of the spine was 1. Of the limbs was 2. And then we got human biochemistry, term summer, human biochemistry lab, history taking, chiropractic procedures, research evidence based. My GPA is still 3.46. Medical Spanish, neuroscience lab lecture, introduction to physical. It's a diagnosis course with the DX. I don't know what these other ones are. They have it at the end though. And then nutrition, biochemical nutrition, chiropractic procedures 4, pathology 1, human physiology, marketing for health practices 1. That was what they call a selective because you have to do like 22 hours, just like massage school you saw earlier. They do clock hours. These are the hours they're accumulating for that term because they meet that many times a week. So not the time that you're doing homework. You're doing homework, you don't have no date night, no vacation, no going to anything because you're going to miss time. They changed it right whenever I got kicked out, fall 20. You can't miss it more than like, I think a day or 2 days. And then you bring 2 people to go to that place, like 45 minutes away from me, meet people, to bring them there. So you have to like have those every term. You have to do 3 terms your last year of clinicals, which is like 300 and something hours every term because you have to do the 1,400 hours of clinical. I had 3,075 hours. You need 4,400 hours, which includes the selectives because I didn't finish all of those, and then the clinicals, which is basically like 1,400 hours, almost something like that. So yeah, they divided it up like that. And then they have clinical orthopedic and neurology, integrative health promotion, clinical orthopedic neurology. It's a diagnostic course. That's where you learn how to do the special tests. I think they call it CRISC, clinical reasoning and spine care. CRISC. I feel like it was CRISP or something. Anyhow, they go over that the whole biopsychosocial model of pain. If you're having pain, is it biological from your tissue, bones, maybe your viscera? Is it psychological? Do you have some kind of thought process that's in pain, like a chronic, like catastrophizing, fear catastrophizing, stuff like that? Or is it social, which is you don't know anybody, you don't do anything, you're not out there, you don't feel like you fit in, and that's part of the biopsychosocial model of pain. Actually, social is like fear catastrophizing. Psycho is like in your brain, like chemical imbalances or thought process and stuff. It's been a while since I did this, but it goes back to all this sugar right here because I have all this taffy. And then yeah, so my GPA was 3 point. Was like we were already doing reasoning 1. That was summer 2023. That was a year before I got kicked out. 0.27. This term got of the difficulty in all the the classes. Then you take those midterms and the finals at the same time. 2023 to 2024 fall. Differential diagnosis 1, chiropractic procedures 6. I took scientific basics of chiropractic and it was too much because her tests were too difficult. So I got an F because I was like, you know what? I got to study for all of these exams, even though they give you, this term was the most difficult. I didn't work starting this term to do better. And she made it ridiculous. She didn't ask questions. Like she didn't let you ask questions or care about anything that made you lose an assignment. She put assignments up late. She didn't put it up when she wanted to, but she put it up right before the deadline and they were 20 points and it really affected the grade in there. So she just decided, and basically the weight of we're going to decide how well you do. And I think she got fired or quit. And then she might even be one of the instructors because when I got kicked out or, one of her peers or whatever, she said it was faculty, staff, or students that told her, Shelby Google, about it. And then here we have the radiology positioning in the fall. That's another course too that you're doing with these courses. See, they couldn't even fit right there because there's also this other course. So we have some radiology. In radiology, we have the interpretation from it as well. And these are introduction to summer functional medicine. It all says pass though. I guess these are I didn't even look at this in a while. These are like all selectives, it looks like. Wow, I think I was trying to do a lot of them, but yeah, this was a selective. Okay, that's weird. I didn't elect to have passed, so I think the faculty put that together because some classes were allowed to be passed instead of some other to get you to maximize your GPA. Chiropractic jurisprudence by spring 2024. That basically said you got a 10% chance of lasting 10 years once you graduate. And a lot of students actually, once they become doctors, don't last 5 years. Half of them don't. They either get in trouble for sexual assault, malpractice, or fraud. So I was like, oh, yeah, that's wonderful. Totally want to stay in the program. Yeah, totally. Sounds wonderful. Competitive, like financially. That's why I had like so many places I worked at, right? Because I'm just that competitive. I just want to stay. I don't place, right? Okay. So let's see. Then here we go. The term I was kicked out. I was supposed to do these exams. I was in close. I did 3,075 clock hours of everything, not including these, because I obviously didn't get any credit. 0 for those ones. But and then there were more classes here too. So this is a student clerkship. You do that first before you do the 3 years of externship. Yeah, I think it's externship or something like that. All right, so it's been a while. I was kicked out fall 2024, and we're in spring 2020. Actually, another month and a half, and it'll be summer. So those are my accolades. I do have the knowledge, and you saw my scores. It's not perfect, but whenever I did contact someone about a professor that was an asshole. He could have also kicked me out because I did repeat chiropractic procedure 7 because I didn't like the way he put the exams together. It didn't make any sense. He also heavily weighted stuff. And they act like a gang like most businesses do, the team. Person goes down, they try and get whatever. But unless it shakes down the whole team, then they'll get rid of that person. That's pretty much the whole business model now. The unspoken business model, the unspoken team ethic, work ethic. Okay. I want to know if you do this because I can go to YouTube and I can actually look at my analytics. And see if you did. I'll go to videos and I'll see if who's been watching this. Hold on. Let me see. Analytics. I don't expect to have a lot of viewers. Over time, I might have viewers, but it's not something I expect. So I had 4 views. I click their unique views. I don't have any kids, so you have to put your information up there. If it's for kids, then any age can watch it. See if there's any more comments. Someone watched it 10%. Someone was watching 10%. Wow, that's pretty cool. We'll go to another one. Where's the other videos? Let's look at the analytics for this one. 8 more than usual. 30% of the time. Average view is almost a minute. Average percentage viewed. Then here we go right here. During that time span, they're watching more around this time right there. Okay, so I'm gonna close that, and then let's go to so here's my physiotherapy certificate. I don't think I didn't get that made in my unmarried name. I'm not married. My maiden name. So this is my married name. But it can also be Janis in Corona. So this is my physiotherapy certificate. That's usually something related to chiropractic. But I guess they have physiotherapists in Europe too. They call it that. And that's like a different process. And here's my Master of Science degree. Lewis University. I just typed it. I just took a picture and then put it on here, but that's my degree. You saw the transcripts. Why would I lie about that? Yeah. Now, after all this, I have $400 and something thousand in debt. Let me see if I saved I get an income driven repayment. So if I don't have it, they're going to take $3,976 from me every month. I make that before taxes. Taxes takes out like a lot. Yeah, I make like $1,500 to $2,200 a month before taxes. And that's if everybody tips and I'm busy. And then how is it that wait, that's every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, so 3,000 to like that, and plus my small business. Yeah, I make like maybe like 500 at the most a month, unless it's a season. But Google, they love to say, "Hey, you're not listed. You need to pay me a lot of money to get you listed." I'm like, I don't want spam calls, right? That's what it takes. I don't want any part of it. You can Google all the scams. Let's look at this last scam they called during yeah, so don't fear if you want to go to school, because if you plan on being a loser the whole time, they can't take more than 20% of your pay towards that forever. But the income-driven repayment is still, it's a 25-year thing. You have to renew it every, because if you don't, just like this says, you're going to be responsible for the monthly payment they calculated. When I graduated, it was $325,000. Already at $368,000 is a lot that it adds to it, but it's forgiven after 25 years. But you have to keep doing this, and unless you have assets, they'll put a lien on it. But I don't own anything. Even my travel trailer, I make payments. My truck make payments, so I don't own anything. I work my butt off, and I pay like 40% in taxes. So I am paying, not going to be towards this unless I start making like 200,000 a year. And yeah, they know my income, so that. And let's go to the Complete Anatomy app. So today, oh man, that's so much sugar. I had wine last night too because I was too lazy to go to get some beer, and I don't like wine. Yeah, we were gonna do the Tableau later, but I wanted to go over this Complete Anatomy app. I was showing my accolades, of course, and I'm going to now go into this Complete Anatomy app. It's 4MD Medical. You can get it on Google Play or Apple. But you will have to ask their permission and give them a payment so that they can have you sign up and give an email and a login. So you can pick I don't ever explore any of these, but these are really neat as well. These are new things that they're always doing. We can look at the videos, but let's just go to the body. Now we're in the female, right? You can tell because this pelvis right here is wide. Now, if you go to the male for the full body, it's narrower. See that? That's what they tell you. So this guy, he had pain right here. I'm going to zoom in on that. Right here, this is the ischial tuberosity bone. To this attachment site, you have your hamstring. And then it breaks off into, it goes into, and it attaches. So the hamstring goes here, right? It comes off also right here on the middle of this back of the bone. You got these little lines right here where those are muscle attachments, like the linea something. The sciatic nerve, it's actually leaving from, okay, so this is T. Okay, so let's see, which one is that? Okay, so that's T12. T12 is the end of your rib cage, the false ribs. And then you have L1, 2. So your spinal cord ends around here, and then it branches off, and it has what's called the horse's tail. And they go through these little nerve roots. The facets right in here, this little space, right? But then you have all these bones and ligaments and structures like connective tissue that overlap it. It can get tight. The muscles can get weak here, make it droop, tight here, pulling in different directions. Common with massage is we get sciatic pain symptoms. Let me tell you about pain. You have different types for people that need to see it. I'm going to write it out. This is whenever I had to redo the art studio and check the hash. Yeah, that was from the class in, no, I don't want to say that. So I'm going to write this out. Now, there's different types of pain, and you need to be aware of pain pattern. Okay, what is going on here? Just move the window out of the way. Okay, so there's types of pain. We got our soft tissue pain. It's going to be dull and achy, difficult to locate or pinpoint. That's from like ischemia, from like cutting off vascular supplies from the arteries or the veins to that muscle. It becomes low in oxygen, and the myofibrils and the like the, what is it? They call it like the white or the red. So yeah, so ischemia, you know, usually from that. It can also be if it's soft tissue pain. So we're talking muscle fibers, connective tissue, myofascia, which covers the muscles. We're also talking about tendons, which attach the muscles to bones. We're talking about ligaments, which also connect two bones together to hold it in place. So dull and achy, difficult to locate. You'll probably rub it and you'll feel knots. What are knots? What are knots? Oh, anybody want to tell me? Okay, so knots are basically dead fibers of muscle and myofascial that cut off nutrient supply and are large and compressing neurovascular structures. Now, when you have nerve compression, what type of pain do you think that you feel? Anybody? Okay, good. So it's going to be a sharp, possibly shooting, easy to pinpoint pain. All right. It could be acute or recent within 2 to 6 weeks. At the treatment level, acute is when the inflammatory response fades. So you have 5 cardinal signs of inflammation. This is your body's defense to help healing. What are they? Okay, so it's going to be heat, calor for you Latin folks, pain, dolor for you Latin folks. It's going to be red or rubor again. It is also going to be it's going to be swollen or tumor for Latin folks, okay? And then it's going to be a limited or large loss of function to prevent injury or more injury. And that's like Funcio de Laos or something like that. Okay, so whenever you have like only 2 of those, like let's say it's just red and a little bit of pain, or the heat has gone, the swollen is gone, you can move it a little bit, then it starts being subacute. Subacute is when you have like 2 of those 5 cardinal signs of injury. in about 3 to 4 days, depending on how bad your injury was. Now, depending on how long and what type of tissue you injure will dictate if it's acute or chronic, because it is chronic if it is outside that normal window of healing, which accommodates ages. So like a little cut, a little low grade muscle strain, like working out or getting an aggressive adjustment or deeper than desired deep tissue massage. It's about 1 to 2 weeks, 4 weeks if you are old and have a terrible immune response or are excessively on painkillers or exposed to toxic stuff. Okay, so if you still have a lot of pain and it was a mild tissue strain is for tendons or muscles, sprain is for ligaments. Now, tendons can take about 2 to 4 months, sometimes 6 months if you have terrible immunity to heal. Outside of that, you're going to be in a chronic state of injury, and you're at risk of having psychological pain-related problems with that spot every time you get stressed out or if you overdo it. So if you still have a lot of pain and it was a mild tissue strain, you are now having a chronic pain condition. Okay. All right. So let's just look at this app. We're going to go ahead and see here. Okay. So your sciatic nerve, it starts from L4, which goes underneath the vertebrae, which is right here. This is L4. This is L5 in the normal person. If you're somebody who has some type of lumbosacralization, you might have an extra lumbar vertebrae, like 6 of them, and a smaller sacrum. But the normal people have 5 lumbar vertebrae, and that's L5, that's L4. You know how you know it's a sciatic nerve? It's L4, so it's 4243. You know what that stands for? The 4th lumbar vertebrae. Let's see, the 4th nerve root, L4. Oh, and the 3rd sacral nerve root. So they have these little foramen right here. So this is the 1st sacral nerve root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and you got your coccygeal. This is all like for the pelvic floor area. So you're gonna have nerve roots from here. Remember, the spinal canal ends about here. That's where all the meninges covering it are. You're usually gonna get an epidural in there. A lot of people get chronic pain. If you get meningitis, it's in that whole spinal canal up to the brain cavity right here. Now we can actually go and finish that before I get into the brain cavity. So you're going to have L4, L5, S1, 2. That's going to be the common fibular nerve. You know where the common fibular nerve is? It goes all the way to the toe just like the other one, but it's on this side. And it wraps around here, right in the lateral. It all splits right here. So you got L4, 5, S1, 2, and you got S3. Together, they're the sciatic nerve. They go under the deep external hip rotators right here. underneath the attachments. And then supplying your leg, your glutes on the way, all the other muscles. You have your glute minimus, medius, your whole maximus. Deeper to that, you have the gemellus, superior. Then you have the I believe it's the piriformis, and then the inferior, and then the obturator externus. But if you don't remember, because time does fade and neuroplasticity, you don't necessarily lose it unless you get brain damage and you kill the nerve axon in your brain. But you can rebuild it. So you can, little locations in your brain will allow you to access that memory location for it. But you have to add to it. Give it time. So let's go ahead and just look at the nerve as we're going to add layer by layer. This is our sciatic nerve. So actually it's right here and it's coming out like that, but they have other nerves that are branching off from here that are actually supplying the muscles on the underside. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that. Okay, a lot of people get sciatic nerve pain because they're piriformis muscle. And if you look right here at the inside, do you notice that it is on the inside of the sacrum right there? So these nerve roots come together from the spinal canal in here, and they start branching out to supply those muscles on the glutes. They're going to go down and supply the leg all the way to the toe. Now, if you have sciatic nerve pain that extends beyond the knee, that's usually a sign that you have some kind of damage that's compressing it in this area. It could be the lumbar, it could be the bony processes, it could be soft tissue, but most of the time it could also be nerve inflammation. You might have some kind of infection along your nerve meninge that's covering what is that called? That covering. So the nerve covering. And going down into, let's go to the foot, right in there. We look a little bit closer. That's still the sciatic nerve root. And you can see it hitting this big toe right there. You can feel it in your toe. Sometimes you might be a little achy if you're sitting and you're. But let's look at the muscles too. So here we have some smaller muscles here. Those are like the pectineus to the pubic bone right there. Let's add another muscle. I just went over the pain. You have the ischemia and stuff. We're going to go into the fascial coverings too. So pay attention to these muscles. This is layer by layer. That's your psoas right here. Look, a screen pops up. This is it's actually your quadratus lumborum. Sorry. It's a little bit too close. This should be your psoas. Okay, that's your psoas. So you can see how they look alike, but because this is the iliac crest, the psoas also attaches to the iliac crest right here. Okay, so they're together. They live together. And look how the psoas is attaching to the ribs and the iliac crest, but not to the discs. Now, if you look at the psoas, and then these right here, these are like the intertransversalis, the lumborum, those are the deep erector spinae, not just the erector spinae, the deep ones. And then you go in here, you got your psoas major and minor. This one, minor. Not everyone has a minor though. And look how, if cartilaginous tissue, you will see that this is attaching to discs, and we are going to add that connective tissue. All right, let's see. Let's hide this. Now look how it is attaching to the disc. Okay, and you see those nerves. Those are the anterior ones. So when someone gets anterior lateral sclerosis, because we're looking at the front of the spine, those are the things that get eaten away and they can't move. Those are the motor function. Those are the ganglions that you get synapses for motor response. You get it from the brain, corticospinal, and it goes back to the brain from your muscle, spinal, cortical. spinal cord. I think so. Yeah. And so let's add some more connective tissue. A lot of people can have, okay, so I'm looking for the deep fascia. Come on, deep fascia. Here we go. These are the fascia right here, and they have stretch receptors on it. These little coverings covering it, deltoid fascia. Got your deep fascia of your back, axillary fascia. Here's your deep fascia of the back. If you have any questions. Now see how that deep fascia goes to the transverse process. So when you're doing an abdominal massage or a back massage that allows abdominal, it would be nice to massage that, because sometimes when you get abdominal pain, if it's indigestion or you're getting bloat or something, it could cause your low back pain, because all of these nerve roots, they share the dorsal root ganglia for sensory, which is the nerve axon at the back. Okay, and this is the thoracolumbar fascia. So we saw the anterior ganglions of the nerve rootlets. There's a posterior one, which is the dorsal nerve roots that supply sensory. So in the back, it's sensory. Okay, and that can get filled with fluid, and it can lead to stretching, which will give a burning sensation. Burning pain. Burning pain is a sensation where stretch fibers that are proprioceptors of muscles are firing off due to being stretched. And it could be from fluid of blood, lymph, infection, whatever. Okay, burning. Now let's go into stabbing pain. Stabbing pain. So that is also pain from proprioceptors in the membrane covering an organ that stretches from abnormal growth, such as the membrane over the lymph nodes or over a nerve root that is inflamed. Okay. All right. That's all you need to know. So let's talk about this pain. So the brachial plexus. Okay. So right in here, like we have the fascia. This is still the deep fascia, superficial investing cervical fascia. And that could be pain. There's only so much space that goes in it. So you got your brachial plexus, which is your C5 through T1, which is, in that case, it goes over. So there are 8 cervical nerves, but there's only 7 cervical vertebrae because the first one goes over the first vertebrae, and then it goes with the second one over the second, and then so the 7th one, there's a nerve for the cervical that goes under it, and that's the C8 nerve. Now you can tell in an x-ray, or you can palpate if you're a massage therapist, because the first thoracic vertebrae will have transverse processes like this, like smiling up. Everything else is a pillar. It's either like straight or not. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that. And I'll hide that. And this is our brachial plexus right here. Now, this is also where you get your thoracic duct right here that empties out all the left side of the body. So your thoracic duct comes in here and you have lymph nodes right there. Okay. Now, if they get too big, let's add some lymphatics. Let's see if we need more. These are your lymphatics. They clean up an extra 15% of the fluid that your veins don't pick up. Veins pick up all waste, they pick up what they can, but lymphatics, they pick up the higher debris, waste, and molecule size. But they need macrophages and eosinophils and neutrophils to go out and blast pathogens into even smaller sizes so that they can push them into the ducts of the lymph nodes. These can grow, and that's a condition. They usually don't get more than a half a centimeter in any kind of infection, bacteria, but they're painful. But if they grow and they stretch, it won't really hurt the lymph node otherwise, but in a bacterial or viral infection, it will. But if it's cancer, like metastatic or lymphoma, then you're not going to feel it. You won't know, but you'll see a huge lump, and that lump can press on this brachial plexus and can just press it in there because it only has so much room. So it's taking up room that this needs for it. And these are usually ensheathed in their own type of membrane. Well, the femoral one is the femoral triangle is okay. So the brachial plexus goes over the first rib. Okay, right here. This is the first rib. You got the brachial plexus under the clavicle. It's also going under the AC joint right here. We're gonna go ahead and actually it's the coracoid process. It is under the AC joint, but not directly. It's actually the coracoid process. And so you have a few areas, like here, the coracoid process. This is the AC joint right here. This is the coracoid process. So your coracobrachialis muscle, which assists in bicep flexing, and your pec minor attached to this, which is more for like the chest flies. Those attach here. Now, your brachial plexus is right here, going to supply the arm. It breaks off. If you have a tight pec, tight brachioradialis, or you have poor posture can compress your shoulders forward, compress that. A lot of people, they get tech neck from slooping forward. Now, this is a normal posture line, right? Your shoulders are supposed to be in line with your neck and your head in the back. You're supposed to have this posture so that your nerves and your vascular structures are not compressed. Now, whenever you do tech neck, these muscles right here, these are like the deep neck flexors, the erector spinae, your upper traps, your levator scapulae, if we add more muscles. You also have that connective tissue. They do more work. They become elongated in some of them. Some of them become hypercontractile. If they're long, they're weak. If they're short, they're hypercontractile or strong, and they're pulling more than they should be. And that's going to compress nerve roots or other vascular structures. And that could, and every 10 degrees your head is forward, they say is 10 pounds. And now if you're at your family house and you're looking at your phone because you just don't have anything to say, or your friend's house or whatever you're doing, or maybe you're at the car dealership waiting for something to get fixed. You're there for hours looking at your phone. Your nose is here, your eyes are here, your chin is here. That's a lot of work. And that is why people get knots here. They get long-standing knots right there from all that work, having to keep your head up. That's an extra 10 pounds every 10 degrees. That was about 45 degrees. That's like 45 pounds, 60 pounds, 80 pounds, added to your head, your muscles right here. So, yeah, and that adds to poor posture. You're going to have aches. So you need to go get a massage. Okay. How'd you guys like this one? Okay. This more often. I already told you my accolades. If you want to know more, that's fine. Don't look up my personal information because I will find you. If not, my dad has a stalker, his second wife, and she's really protective of him. She took her name off of his personal information, and she knows how to manipulate that. So yeah, if it's like a $20 a month thing, I might pay it. Okay, and I'll find out. Okay. All right. So start tuning in. I'm gonna give you the link, and then you can educate yourself with all my knowledge that I'm sharing. Okay. It's not white savior syndrome. It's not anarchy. It's just because I want to. Okay. Anyways, thanks for listening. I'll give you guys a shout out. Okay. And then I'll see you guys next time if you tune in. I'll put this on my blog as a link. I'll just make the playlist available, so it should show a streaming if it is live. I don't want to notify everyone that subscribes, but if you subscribe and I get enough subscribers, then I'll say, hey, notify my subscribers. Okay. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Okay, have a great day.